I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon.
Oh my god, guys, look at that fucking hat.
Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card never change. Play the game.
Big old striker, guys, look at that. Look at that. Big old girl from Pops.
You the man with the bridge shit, man. I can tell you that.
Look at that big one, guys.
That's a freaking hog, dude. Get up here.
Woo, baby. Look at that tank.
What's going on, guys? Bassin' Up Mopper here, coming at you with a new video for this week. In this week's video, we're going to go over shallow diving, flat-sided crankbaits for cold water bass. So, let's get started. First, let's go over the setup. Setup for this kind of a bait, you're going to want like a 6'6" to a 7-foot medium or medium heavy fast action. You could use either. I personally like 6'8" medium fast action. This is perfect. It has enough backbone to set the hook and also is flexible in the tip enough to really let the rod give when they do bite. So most of the time they've already got the hook set in them themselves from just hitting it with that nice flexible tip like that. And then reel wise, you want to throw it on a 6'2" to 1 because generally you're going to be fishing in colder water temps. Anywhere from a 48 to like a 65 degree range is where these flat-sided crankbaits really shine. And now let's get into some of the types of the flat-sided crankbaits you got. Here I got two Berkley Fritsides, one a little bit deeper diving, one a little bit shallower diving. Just judge it for whatever water depth you're around. That's basically all you need to do with that. Then I also got the Spro BBZs. And then I got two of the Rapala Otts Garage cranks in crawl color and a little purple descent. And then I also have the IMA Shaker, which is another really good one. We've caught a lot of nice big fish on this one. This is one of our personal favorites. And all of these crankbaits, the big thing you want to do with these earlier in the year when the water's colder, that's when your shad patterns are really going to shine. When anytime the water is below 52 degrees, that's when your shad patterns really shine because that's the primary forage of bait that's out that time of year, or that time of water temp. Anytime after that is when crawfish will start coming out and you can start picking up more of the crawfish patterns and they'll start feeding on that more as well. So that's kind of how you'll judge what patterns to work best and what water degree it works in. Like I said, this type of crankbait works best in the 48 to 65 degree water temps. And why does it work in the cold so much better than say a deeper diver or a shallow square bill or something? This type of crankbait, has a lot tighter wobble and it's a lot more realistic to the fish's kind of action this time of year. So in a sense that makes them be more keen to biting it than any other kind of a crankbait. If it looks more real, they're going to hit it a lot easier than they would something that doesn't. But this has a very subtle reaction and it makes it very realistic, and the fish can hardly resist it that time of year. Where to fish this type of bait? Most of the time you're going to want to fish this kind of a bait in a shallow tapered bank that's sloping off, maybe has a little bit of grass or maybe has a little bit of riprap or wood on it. You can fish these through cover. You want to be careful fishing it through heavy cover like wood cover. You want to really feel your crankbait out and really feel what it's doing in the water. Like if you're in like some heavy wood, you want to really feel as you're reeling it through that wood. If you feel it catch up a little bit, you want to let it go, maybe float back up or continue reeling, whichever you feel is best at that time. And you generally want to fish this with a bottom that is shallower than what your crankbait's going to run. You want your crankbait to be hitting the bottom all the time with this kind of a bait. that's what gets the reaction out of them. And that's what gets them to strike. And for retrieve kind of speed or retrieve style for this type of bait, you want to do a slow retrieve with like a 6-2 to 1 reel, or even a 5-4 to 1 reel if you can find one. But you want to do real slow, nice, slow, easy cranks. You can even do a little twitch in here, little pauses, stop and go. That's what gets you your strikes a lot of times and gets the reaction out of the fish to stop and go. And once this bait is, say you're working it all the way across the bottom and then it starts to pick up once you're getting closer to the boat. Actually, a lot of times once it starts to pick up and come closer to the boat, as that bait's rising, that creates another type of reaction strike out of the bass. So that's another good way to get them to bite with this style bait. A lot of times with this style crankbait, they will be biting it almost as soon as it's starting to lift up as you're coming back to the boat. Then line size for this style bait, you can use anywhere from 10 to 17 pound line. It depends on what you want to use and what you're comfortable with. And also, it also depends on what depth you want your crankbait to run a little bit as well. Because you say, typically I don't throw a crankbait on anything less than 10 pound line. That 10 pound line compared to using a 17 pound line, you're going to get this 8-foot diver to dive probably close to 10 foot with 10 pound line, or you're going to get that full 8 foot out of it. Whereas say if you're using 17 pound, with that having more memory to it and having a lot more lift in it and just bigger diameter to it, that creates more water drag, which then again makes your bait rise higher in the water column. So that's one good thing to do to help make your baits run a little bit deeper, your crankbaits run a little bit deeper, size down in line just a little bit, and then you can get that crankbait to run either closer to its full depth or even maybe a little deeper than its desired depth. And another thing you can do, and I like to do especially this time of year with crankbaits, is use a little bit of scent. And I got some of my favorite scents here. We got the Bang garlic and crawfish formula. And then, of course, we got smelly jelly. Smelly jelly is awesome. It's really stinky and disgusting, but it absolutely kills and stays on the fish a lot. Stays on the bait a lot better than the Bang stuff. That's good for if you want to just keep respraying throughout the day. This stuff's better for consistency and staying on there longer. The gooiness of it, you get it all over your fingers and stuff, which kind of sucks, but it really does help catch more fish. And then real quick before we go here, another thing you can do with these style crankbaits is you can put suspend weights on them. Now this is just one style of suspend weight. This is one Zappu makes. These are little screw-in spring ones. And then they just screw onto your hook right here like this, and they'll go on there like that. And once they're on there, your bait will suspend in the water column a lot better with one of them as you're reeling along, say, especially with a balsa wood crankbait like these, and that's what a lot of your flat-sided crankbaits are, or balsa, and a lot of times they'll want to float back up when you're reeling. If you put a suspend dot on them, they'll stay where you want them to. And so you're reeling along and then pause and it'll suspend there right where it was stopped. And that's another good way to get more fish to bite. But hope you guys enjoyed this little tip video. I've been having a hard time getting out and fishing with this and having a hard time actually catching fish like this. Pretty much been having to learn how to fish all over again and left-handed. So just bear with me a little bit, but we're going to get on them here soon. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this little tip video. And if you did, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out. It helps push my videos to other people. And also, it lets me know if you guys are enjoying the content at the time. If I know what you guys are enjoying, I'm going to tailor my content a lot more towards what you guys like. So if you do that, that lets me know. But either way, stay tuned till next Thursday, and we'll see you. Bassin' Up Moffat out.